Your mom gives me this feeling of almost like I don't have enough time to really think about what I'm about to face. And that's what makes this so hard. Sorry. I want you to know that when she comes through, the connection that she has to you on the other side is so close, and no matter what time wasn't able to be spent in the physical world, she comes through so connected to you and in such a young, lively, kind of beautiful, beautiful, beautiful way. And that's how she wanted to be remembered. But I want you to know that she's resolved with her passing.
Yeah, she shouldn't have died. Died too early. Infection after a procedure. We're not happy the way the procedure went. And then she had a complication. Then he eventually succumbed to an infection in the hospital after 30 days. Wasn't ready to die. 0. Didn't expect this to happen. She was afraid to have the surgery. Didn't expect this. She got rolled in the operating room. Because I go, it'll be no big deal. She'll be fine. And a complication happened in surgery. And then they came out and said, yeah, your mom may not make it. She's bleeding a lot. She's probably gonna die. Just like that. We almost passed out right there. What? And then the next 30, 31 days was an emotional roller coaster, and she died. Well, it still haunts us to this day, and I'm blaming myself sometimes, thinking, well, if I was there, if I would have spoke to the doctor and would have said this, would she still be living today? And then at the end, knowing that this was in the hospital and this is her blood, that's... So it's intense. You know, I miss my mom.
Obviously, you brought an object.
I did.
And oftentimes, I'll hold on to an object. Do you mind if I hold on to that?
Of course.
Okay. Now, I don't want to know who this belongs to or anything along those lines. No worries. I will keep it down.
Okay.
I'll just go and we'll see what comes through.
Okay.
Okay. All right. No pressure. Let's see.
Oh, he's so cute.
Oh, there's a lot popping in. Okay, I've got you, and you. We're going to talk about Robert Kardashian. I do have a man that's fitting this kind of bill of passing away before his time, but he references to an illness. He makes a very close connection on the other side with his mother. He's like, I'm with mom. You would know I'm with mom. Like, there's this connection, and it's like this. There's a joke about two things, funny enough. He's having me say monkey, and either joke about someone's nickname being monkey or a monk, like...
He had a monkey, a stuffed monkey, when he was a kid named Zacco.
Wow.
And so Chloe has the monkey.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And that makes sense if she's in the room. That could be why.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
And then really quickly, just on a last note, there's a joke about... I'm seeing a window, and it's a decision about something window related.
That is crazy. I don't think anybody knows that.
It's so weird.
We're gonna replace those windows right there.
Was this a conversation that would have just been had recently?
A couple days ago.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
That's strange.
I know, see? You never know who's watching over you.
Never do, or watching your windows.
Listening to your window conversations.
Well, if only they would wash them.
Yeah, I know.
That'd be much more convenient.
Can you pass that message back?
I am.
Okay, thank you.
Grab the Windex. At this point, I'll ask you, who did this belong to?
Robert. Oh. Yeah, turn it over.
Yes.
You'll see.
Oh, I love that. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's so special. What an amazing
really
thing
cool.
to get to have.
Yeah.
Look, obviously, when people watch the show, they're going to think, in watching this, well, of course Tyler's going to connect to Robert Kardashian, because, of course, that's who everybody knows. But for me, I find oftentimes the more ambiguous, the random details, like the window thing, and those are the details.
The window thing nobody would know, because I've never mentioned it to one person.
I believe that all of those details, came from him and are his way of connecting.
Well, that's exactly why it's important.
Right.
I could see the look on Tyler's face, and he was like smiling every time he talked about Daddy.
Right.
Because he was laughing, going, oh, there's a joke about, and I'm like, that's so your dad.
There's a weird story about someone almost being electrocuted, which is like a whole situation. But I feel like I'm almost electrocuted. That's so random. Do you know of any connection?
Yes, my brother. His name was Trey.
Okay.
So the last job that he did with his dad, Harvey.
Right.
Yeah. They were working by a lake, and
Right.
my dad almost got electrocuted from it.
Interesting. So that would be, and that's why I'm seeing the fishing. Okay.
I'm starting to get nervous now. They were doing an electrical job for this lady.
On the lake.
On the lake.
Which he was talking about the fishing.
And Trey had cut the power, and Harvey went to connect the power, and the power was still hot.
And so it zapped him. And so that was really like the last thing they did together. And so that was, I mean, and no one would have had any way of knowing that. That's what's so bizarre. It's something, it's just amazing to think.
He comes through very, very peaceful, but he is making a very profound connection to your dad, and the feeling basically is that dad never recovers or gets over this. The reference is, when I die, dad just never is ever able to come back from this. It's almost like your dad's life ended when your brother's did. And it's just, for him, it's hard because he didn't want to see his dad just kind of go about being a shell of himself, honestly, to some extent, because of his death. And so for him, he's apologizing, almost like, I'm sorry that I went when I did, because I didn't know that this was going to impact dad so much.
People that have met my dad after my brother passed, I'm like, but you don't know him before. He was so different before. And so to hear Tyler say that when your brother died, he did too. And there's so much truth to that. And so I'm very grateful for that.
I have a man coming through and he's emphasizing his hair. And it's actually funny. It might not make any sense, but he's showing me his hair. I don't know if he had longer hair or what the thing would be, but I feel like I'm doing this.
Yes?
Yes.
And he's referencing to his passing, and immediately as he's coming through, he's referencing that he did not want to die when he passed. But the only way I can put this is that he's referencing that he feels he contributed to his transition. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Totally.
But what's interesting the way this comes across is that this person's acknowledging that they feel like the timing in which they passed was clearly not a suicide.
That's right. My brother passed away about 5 years ago. My connection to my brother is he got this award back in 1983. I've covered it up so that Tyler can't see what it says. But he had a very untimely death in a situation where we weren't speaking. I felt guilty about things, and then he left my mother alone. He was very close to my mother, and he never met my kids. So to this day, I'm conflicted about it. I'm still very upset with him. My brother was the lead singer of a big band in the 80s called Quiet Riot.
One of their big songs was called Bang Your Head, and if you think about a headbanger,
Right.
Yeah.
he had long curly hair.
Right.
And that's why when you were talking about the wind and the
Right.
hair
Yeah.
like going,
Yeah, that's what he was
I
known for.
picturing.
His
Okay.
hair thing,
Yeah.
the curly, long, wavy hair.
He's referencing to the fact that he mixed two drugs. Okay, are you aware of that?
Yes.
When he's making it a point to say that normally he knew not to overdo it with one,
Right.
but because they were mixed,
Yes.
this shuts down the functions. Yeah, I feel like I'm using like an upper and a downer is kind of the way of describing
Right.
it. Does that make sense?
Exactly right.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Cocaine and Ambien.
Okay.
There was this song about this rock star, and the chorus in the song was died in his bed, bottle of sleeping tablets by his head. And I used to warn Kevin, you're gonna be that song lyric. And that's exactly how he died.
This is gonna sound probably kind of odd. He knew that he was not going to live a full life. Couldn't envision himself as an old man is the way I would kind of put it. I don't see myself. When I'm looking at his temperament and his personality,
Right.
from his perspective, he feels like he was stubborn, with you in particular. It seems like a lot of this is kind of petty. Like there's just stupid, petty crap that should not have contributed to that much of a disconnect. And he takes accountability.
Exactly right.
And that's the way he puts it. And he takes accountability for his role in it. He's perfectly fine. He's completely at peace when he comes through. He's lovely. But he definitely comes through and is apologetic for the bridges that he burnt. Good to keep in mind, you are going to deal with vertigo, like feeling dizzy. Do you get vertigo? Like a feeling of like
Yes,
dizzy, like I feel
all
like I
the
can't.
time.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
What about love life?
Love life? Oh,
Just
no.
really quick. I'm sorry.
I think really yeah. Let me look. Okay. Sorry. Look,
You said yeah.
Okay. There's a situation with someone tries to get with one sister. Okay. Someone tries to get with one sister and then tries to get with the other. What is happening?
Oh my God, does that make any sense? Oh,
Actually, kind of.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
I kind of do.
You do. What about that situation?
I don't like that situation. That person, I'm not.
We'll discuss.
I think we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as it makes sense to you. I'm blushing. But yes, it's all that matters. That's good. It's also good to keep in mind. Basically, there's a situation with an individual from the past that we've been romantically involved with, and I basically see this individual kind of going in and out. And to me, that generally indicates that this person's kind of in our lives, and then kind of out of our lives, and then kind of in our lives, and kind of out of our lives. The feeling is basically that we want to really set healthy boundaries and say, no, you can't kind of dip your toes in and leave when you want, and can't really commit in the way this comes across. It's like, I still want to be part of your life, but I can't commit to the things that you really want me to do. It's like a really...
I know who you're talking about.
And it's still, and what's weird though is like right now it would be platonic. It's not a romantic thing right now. But the feeling is like, it's still not a healthy reminder to have instability in that dynamic. So the feeling is like really set the terms with this individual.
I think that's from like my childhood.